All right, Chad Mills there on the scene live. Thank you so much. Let's go now back to Lexington County officials with the Sheriff's Department. Captain Adam Myrick joining me right now again by way of telephone. Since we last spoke, Adam, I know that you've had an update on what this person is, what he's wanted for, and the charges against him. Can you bring our viewers up to speed on that?
Due to a failure to appear in General Sessions Court warrant. That is something that the U.S. Marshals and our task force with the Marshals, we're a part of that. That has been adopted by that task force. Those charges, the original charges related to that arrest warrant. Again, to try and simplify it and bottom line it here, the charges that he was supposed to appear in court for and did not appear in court for are unlawful carrying of a pistol, also the illegal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, also a meth possession charge related to that original warrant. So these charges were issued, and an arrest warrant for failure to appear in court related to those charges is what the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force has adopted. We're a part of that. So we know that he has those charges that are active. He's wanted on that failure to appear in court arrest warrant. At this time, we're not sharing his name because of the active negotiations that are ongoing. That would not be, at this time at least, beneficial to our active negotiations with this subject. But we did want to share those original charges to underscore this individual was wanted, and he has a history of being armed. He is armed now.
And so was there not an actual armed robbery this morning?
I have not shared, we have not shared as the Sheriff's Department any information related to an armed robbery. We're still trying to piece together that timeline that occurred earlier this morning that prompted the subject to initiate a pursuit earlier this morning in southern Lexington County. So right now, what I can share with you is that he had those prior charges. They related to a failure to appear in court warrant, and where we are right now. There's still a lot of work to be done to reconstruct that timeline from earlier today. Our focus now is where he is. We know he's armed. We know he's not getting out of his car here on I-26.
Are they making any headway with him? Are they feeling like, hey, this is something that could wrap up? Or I guess you just really don't know at this point, do you?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to speculate and forecast these things, Dawndy. Each one is different, number one, and then as obviously we're dealing with someone, he could change. The tone of things could change here very quickly. So we don't want to speculate, and we certainly don't want to give any false hope. We would like to think we're close, but the bottom line is we just don't know. It's just very difficult to even forecast these.
I know the traffic now has been backed up. Well, we're actually coming up close now to 4 hours of what you guys have been dealing with on Interstate 26. How close? I know you're trying to turn motorists around and send them back the other direction, but how close, Captain Myrick, are some of the motorists to the actual suspect?
31 years of age, wearing black pants, John Moore.
The portion of I-26 that we have blocked off heading eastbound is roughly several hundred yards away from where the suspect is. And so because of the bottlenecking that's taken place, troopers and deputies alike, we're working together with our state trooper friends to make sure that this traffic, the bottleneck, if you will, gets reversed as soon as we can. Trooper Bob just arrived on scene. He and I are working together to make sure that we get drivers informed and that we share with them the plans. And right now, those plans from earlier in the newscast that we shared have not changed. If you're heading westbound on 26, you're going to be routed to 77 and eventually turned around to go back and hit 77. If you were heading eastbound, you're being diverted onto Highway 302. If you're sitting still and have been for some time, eventually we'll make our way down to reverse that and get you back onto 302.
Okay, because I'm trying to picture, if I picture the suspect's car, and then I assume deputies and highway patrolmen are in front of the actual motorists who would just have been on a normal routine, correct?
That's correct on the eastbound side, yes.
Okay, so at what point then would law enforcement move in to take this guy out? Could it happen when those motorists are still there sitting nearby?
Dawndy, it's one of those situations where we don't want to speculate on when that might happen or what the surrounding conditions could be. We will go where the negotiations take us, and we'll go where tactically it makes the most sense and where we feel everyone is safe, including, obviously, officers and the suspect himself. Our goal and top objective is to make sure we have a peaceful and very safe resolution with everyone who is around and near this scene.
Well, I pray that for you, Adam. I know it's a really tough situation there, obviously, for the viewers who are so backed up and have been almost 4 hours, but for your officers there. So our best to all of you. Thank you again for joining us and bringing our viewers up to speed on what's happening there on Interstate 26. Adam Myrick with the Lexington County Sheriff's Department, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.